Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to today's webinar. I am Lisa Randolph. I'm the Assistant Director for Experiential Learning in the Office of Career Development and Professional Engagement. And I'm going to be talking to you today about our current resources as well as plans for the future.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly O'Shaughnessy. I'm the Director of Career Readiness Pathways. I will be off camera for most of the session, handling our Q&A portion. So feel free to put any questions that you have into the Q&A icon that you see at the bottom of your screen. We'll do our best to respond to those throughout the session or let you know if they are part of today's session. In addition to that, we do have a few questions that were submitted ahead of time that we will address throughout as well as at the end. And we plan to leave a good chunk of time at the end of today's presentation for open Q&A.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, so I'm going to kind of take you through a little bit of the history of our office and some changes that have happened fairly recently, just to give you an idea of where we are right now and where we're headed. So in the summer of 2021, we were named the Cohen Career Center, and we reported to Student Affairs. In October 2021, we changed our name to the Office of Career Development and Professional Engagement. We changed to reporting to the advancement that was the division we were now in. And we also restructured our office a bit. And then in February 2022, the president came out with Vision 2026, which I'm going to talk about as well. So with Vision 2026, there are 4 cornerstone initiatives, and those are data, water, democracy, and careers. And there are 3 goals: expand William and Mary's reach, educate for impact, and evolve to excel. Career is a cornerstone. The basis of that is that we will lead in the preparation of lifelong learners equipped to navigate rapid change and to thrive from their first job to their last. With that as well, sorry, I got my menu bar in the wrong place here. So William & Mary will reimagine the liberal arts and professional education in the 21st century to ensure the lifelong success of our graduates. As far as what that looks like as goals, it's to create meaningful pathways for career success, and there are a variety of ways that we are going to be working on that. So our goal is to provide a funded internship or other applied learning experience for every student, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a few slides. Expand career pathway initiatives, engaging alumni at all career stages, and offering credential programs for high demand fields. There are some challenges that come along with careers and applied learning and all of those things. So more than 70% of employers want new college graduates to have a work-based learning experience in their history. More than a third of internships are unpaid, and oftentimes low-income students can't afford to participate in those. Women and minorities are significantly underrepresented among paid interns and overrepresented among unpaid. And while competition is fierce to gain an internship, 60% of students who interned were later hired full-time with their company that they interned at. So internships are super important, but also there are some barriers that come along with that we're going to talk about too. And so our goal is to work on ways to increase funding to students participating in both unpaid and underfunded internships. As I mentioned, we moved from student affairs to advancement. This helped increase engagement with alumni, which is really helpful for our students for networking opportunities and learning about career paths and things like that. We used to only serve alumni up to 3 years out, and we have now shifted to lifelong career engagement. This also meant adding new alumni serving members to our team. In the past 6 months, we have, I think 6 months, I'd say, we've received 2 $1 million gifts. So one was for internships and applied learning. And so with that, we have a program called Fuse, which is funding for unpaid and underfunded student experiences. Every qualified undergraduate student will be eligible for up to $5,000 for participating in unpaid or unfunded internships during their William & Mary career. With that, it's not meant to be pay for an internship, but it's meant to support living expenses for students who are participating in those. And then the other $1 million gift was Applied Research and Innovation Initiative, and this is going to be support for multidisciplinary applied research. We've also recently redesigned our website, which Kelly is going to share that in the chat or Q&A, I can't remember which. And then there's our William & Mary at Work program, which is to expand opportunities to align and engage the William & Mary community around shared interest in industries and workplace affinities. This is our current team. As I mentioned, we have 2 new members to our team. So Alex Beard and Michael Steelman recently joined us, and they are serving alumni. We also have a lot of open positions right now and are going to be expanding our team even more over the next couple of months, which we're really excited about. As far as who we serve all undergraduate students and then graduate students that are in the arts and sciences, School of Education, School of Marine Science, and as I mentioned, now all alumni. We help in a variety of ways, and so you can see some of the topics that we assist students with. I'm sure there are some that aren't listed there, but those are kind of the big subtopics that we help students with. So as you can see from that, we help students their entire college career and afterwards. But so everything from if they don't know what they want to do, all the way to preparing for what's next after William & Mary. We do encourage students to engage early and often. It's important, even if they don't know, let's say your student is like, I don't know why I would go to the Career Center. That is okay. We want them to come see us. That's our job to figure that out, to help them think about what they should be thinking about. So you can see here the career exploration cycle. So there's assess self, discover options, build experiences, and prioritize goals. Students come in at all levels of this cycle, and they may go back to different pieces of the cycle as well. So there's no expected start and end date, and we help students with all parts of this. Even if, again, even if they know what they want to do, there are still pieces of this that are going to be important in that process for them. So applied learning at William & Mary, and you might hear this called several different things. So when I introduced myself, I told you I was the assistant director for experiential learning, which is the same as applied learning. You might also hear it called specific pieces like internships, externships, things like that. So lots of different language all around the same thing, with applying what they're learning to other areas and to the professional world as well. So there are several applied learning components that we don't manage through our office, but we still talk to students about, such as research, study abroad, community engaged learning. We do support externships and internships. So those are the 2 pieces that go through our office predominantly. So externships are job shadowing experiences, and they're typically 1 to 2 days, although there are some that are longer. We facilitate a program over winter break for students to apply to these opportunities, and they're across all of our industries. They are everywhere geographically. We typically have a cat vet that's in Kentucky, so we have some real specific ones as well as some real general ones, but we also help students if they're interested in setting up these experiences for themselves outside of our formal program. Internships are typically a semester or summer long. Students can find opportunities for these on our Tribe Careers platform, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And we also can meet with them individually to talk about their own search. We do have workshops around internships as well. So lots of resources for students with that if they are looking for those opportunities. And students participate in internships all for, there's no set time of you have to be a junior or a senior. Sometimes students do it between their freshman and sophomore year. Someone brought up is one of the questions that was sent in ahead of time was about, is there value about doing research over internships? And I would say we encourage students to do anything that they're interested in. And so, there's options to take part in these things different times of the year. So it doesn't have to be an either or. There's value in all of these opportunities. And so we also try to help students look at why are they interested in whichever applied learning opportunity they're interested in, and then helping them to convey the value of that after the experience. So these are the NACE competencies. NACE is the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and every year they survey employers across all industries, different sizes of companies, to ask what's important the entry-level candidates have as far as competencies go. And year after year, these 8 are the ones that come out on top. So we do a lot of our work in the career office around the NACE career competencies. So both helping students understand what competencies they already have and how to articulate that, as well as what are the competencies that maybe they need to grow more in and how can they go about doing that. Our office works on an industry model rather than focusing on specific majors, because not every student aspires to work in the industry that's directly related to their major, and not every major has an industry that naturally correlates with that. And so we have industry advisors who specialize in these 5 different areas. But we're also all generalists, so we can all meet with all students about any topic. But with the industry newsletter, with the industry model, those advisors do programming specific to their industry areas. They also each have a newsletter that they send out that students can sign up for to be able to get a newsletter that some of them are weekly, some are bi-weekly, some depend on time of year, but it helps them to get resources that are more tailored to what it is that they're interested in. We also have 3 newsletters that go out to students without them signing up for it. So Career Conversations is sent to all students every Sunday evening. It has some of our upcoming events, highlights, it has student spotlights, it has job and internship resources. So lots of great information there that students can get. All students are also sent the RAISE newsletter, which is a newsletter about applied learning. So it has applied learning resources. That one's sent twice a month. Has student spotlights. It also has advice from employers. And then there's a monthly newsletter that gets sent to all first and second year students. That's called Jumpstart, which has tribe careers tips, exploration events, and resources. We do a lot of programming through our office. And so you can see here what some of our programs and events that we put on are. So our workshops are going to be, often there are 30-minute crash courses about different career development topics, and we offer those throughout each fall and spring semester. We have meetups and panels. Meetups are kind of a smaller environment for students to learn about a professional's career path and what they do. And often those are alumni who are participating in those meetups. And then we also have panels. So some examples of panels, those are typically focused on a specific industry area. So we have careers in public health, computer science careers, different things like that. Information sessions are typically going to be recruitment based. So that's companies and graduate schools talking about their opportunities, giving tips for getting involved with them. And then we have recruiting events and tips, which I'm going to go a little bit more, trips, which I'm going to go a little bit more in detail on. So here are our annual recruiting events. So each fall and spring, we have an on-campus student employment fair for students who are looking to work on campus. We also each semester have a career and internship fair, as well as a career diversity expo. We have Meet the Firms, which focuses on finance and consulting in the fall, and also in the fall, a graduate and professional school fair. In the winter, we have Launch, which is a consortium event. It's called, it stands for Liberal Arts Undergrad Network for Careers and Hiring. We also are part of a consortium that puts on a government education and nonprofit fair. In the fall, there's a Science Career Expo. In the spring, there's K-12 Education Recruitment Day. And year-round, we have on-campus interviews. And that's where employers are saying, we want to come to campus. Sometimes it's virtually, but often it's in person, to interview students right on campus so students don't have to figure out a way to get to the organization to go through that process. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, Meet the Firms is also accounting employers. So the industry series and treks we offer, you can see here. So the Wall Street program and Day in DC this year transitioned to being back in person for the first time. So that was really exciting. And so they go to different employer sites to meet with people there and learn about opportunities and experiences. And then our creative industries immersion and tech trek, those remain virtual this year. Those the benefit to having them virtually is that they can do different locations, or they can do sub industries. So you can see one of the creative industries immersions was in entertainment and media. The tech trek is going to San Francisco, Seattle, New York City, and Atlanta. So lots of great opportunities there for students to learn from professionals. Here are some of our professional development programs. So William and Mary Professional Development Week is a virtual week-long series where students and alumni can learn from speakers and also have some networking opportunities. Career Readiness Foundations is offered once each semester and twice in the summer. Kelly will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it is a virtual 4-week self-paced program. And within that, students, we collect resources for them on resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn, and interviewing. And with that, they can review those materials, submit drafts, and then get feedback from from volunteers on those drafts. We have a brand new this year professional headshot booth. So if students are interested in getting a photo for, say, LinkedIn, they can come in anytime we're open to be able to take advantage of that. My computer is having a mind of its own. And then coming soon, we have what's going to be called One Network, which is powered by Graduate. And that's going to be a virtual platform for professional networking between students, alumni, parents, and others as well. So I mentioned a couple of times Tribe Careers, which is our platform for students to find out about lots of different things. So they can subscribe to industry newsletters, they can check out open positions, they can put their application documents in there, they can look at events in our SVP, schedule those on-campus interviews that I mentioned, and also explore employers that are connected with our office. So this is some information from our Next Destination survey for the class of 2021, as well as some different things, like we were #1 best public schools for internships by the Princeton Review, #13 best career services by the Princeton Review. But you can see that of career interest alignment of our graduates in 2021, 97% said that what they were doing next was very well or somewhat well aligned with their career interests. And here you can see some of our other next destination survey information. So the top employers up on the top of here have hired 4 or more graduates from the class of 2021. On average, our graduating classes are hired by 300 to 400 different organizations each year. Which is nice because, again, that's going to be across all industries and all areas of interest. You can see the average salaries at the bottom as well. And a lot of our students go on to graduate school. So you can see here, the class of 2021 went to 140 different graduate and professional schools. 36% of the class went on to matriculate. And all of the schools that are listed below have 4 or more members from the class of 2021. So that, again, you can see there's a wide variety, sizes of institutions, location of institutions, and things like that as well. All right, so Kelly, can we do some of those questions that were pre-submitted?
Yes, we can. So give me just a minute to come back on screen here. And we've had a couple come into the Q&A as well that we've either answered as we've gone along, and a couple others that we will answer together here. But the first one that came to us ahead of the session is about personality testing geared towards careers. And first, we'd like to clarify that we refer to them as assessments or inventories, since it's not necessarily a test that's going to give the one answer that someone might pursue as a career. But does the Office of Career Development and Professional Engagement offer assessments for career options?
Yes, so our office offers Focus 2, which is a virtual self-paced inventory, and that includes personality along with values, interests, and skills. And that's open to all students. They can get there's a code for them to use. They can get that right on our website, and they can complete that. We do usually suggest that students come in to meet with us after they've completed that assessment. Sometimes that assessment, the results can feel really frustrating for one of 2 reasons. Sometimes they're very specific and not what the student's looking for, and sometimes they feel like they're all over the place. But oftentimes having a conversation about that helps them understand themes. So an example I'll give you is the first time that I took Focus 2, I had never been to church in my life. And the first thing that came up was clergy person. And I was like, I don't know about this. But then when I talked to my colleague, he talked to me about kind of what are parallels between what they do and what you do. And then it made sense, right? And so oftentimes just having those conversations really helps students to understand those results and kind of look for themes and where they might start exploring things more from what came through.
So you mentioned earlier that there are a variety of types of applied learning. So if a student is interested particularly in research and will be spending the summer doing research rather than an internship, is there a positive or a negative to that, or do they need an internship?
Yeah, I would say the more experience, the better, and the more types of experience, the better. So a lot of our students tend to do internships over the summer rather than during the semester because they're very busy during the semester, but there are part-time opportunities during semesters as well. There are also micro internships, which are short-term project-based opportunities that are a lot more flexible. And we partner with an organization called Parker Dewey that facilitates companies posting those opportunities. So if a student spends the summer doing research but feels like they missed out because they didn't have an internship, maybe they look at some of those opportunities. Or maybe they look at ways to intern on campus or things like that. So again, we encourage engage early and often, and that's both with our office and with applied learning. And I also encourage students to think about their goals, if they know their goals, or talk to us if they don't, to figure out what types of applied learning make the most sense for what they want to do. But there's absolute value in all of the different things that I mentioned. And so the more things they can participate in my opinion, the better.
All right. The next one is specific to students who are in the sciences. How are they made aware of the importance of an available internship in their first or second year of college? So you mentioned the newsletters. So those industry-specific newsletters, as Lisa mentioned, students have to opt into those. They don't get them unless they request them, and that's in Tribe Careers. But what are some other ways that we communicate for either industry-specific or to freshmen and sophomores?
Absolutely. So we speak to all orientation groups as they're here over or right before classes start. We also have, for almost all of our industry areas, soon to be all of our industry areas, we have Blackboard pages, which again, students opt into those, but those share resources and opportunities. There's also an internships Blackboard page where I post opportunities that for one reason or another aren't in Tribe Careers. And there's also for each industry an internship or an industry specific internship resource. So it has, here are some places where William and Mary students have done internships. Here's how you search on Tribe Careers. And here are some industry specific search sites as well. And again, we encourage students to meet with our office. There's a lot of referrals from one office to another between academic advising and the study abroad office and the Charles Center, which works with research, and us. So lots of people really pouring into students and helping them figure out where's that spot that they are looking for right now. As I mentioned, there's also that on-campus fair. Sometimes on-campus jobs are related to a student's area of interest and is a good way to just start getting some experience in that as well.
And you'd be surprised how some industries really preference, or not really preference, but are really surprised or impressed to see different part-time jobs that students have had. I know, for example, Reebok is a company, anything within sales or retail, they want to see that you've worked as a sales associate somewhere before. So something that might seem like a mundane summer job is actually pretty important professional development as far as an employer is concerned later on.
Yeah, and I would say along with that, what I would encourage with your student is whatever they're doing, whether it's a part-time job, an internship, research, whatever, is just helping them to think about reflecting on those experiences, because that really is key to A, getting the most out of it, and B, being able to convey the benefit, the value of that experience in the future.
All right, so our next question has to do with guidance for students who have become unsure of their major or their initial career. The reality is that the average college student will change their major 3 times, I believe it is. And we know that the average adult nowadays will have as many as 15 jobs before the age of 40. And that your mind can change a lot over the time that you're here as a student and then after. And so what is it that the office provides for students who are maybe changing their mind?
Yeah. So first of all, like Kelly said, it's very common for students to come in planning on one major or career path and then changing course. And that happens for a variety of reasons. But there's lots of resources on our website. So our website has industry pages where students can just explore that industry and resources related to that. But we also encourage them to come in and talk to an advisor about their specific situation, their interests, things like that. There's also, we subscribe to a couple of resources that can be really helpful for students who are just looking to explore. So that includes what can I do with this major? And Candid Career, which Candid Career has very short recorded informational interviews. I think they're like 1 to 3 minutes, where students just this morning, I was looking with a student, we looked up economics. She was thinking economics major, wasn't sure what she wanted to do with that. There were 47 different videos on Candid Career, and they ranged from a comedian to a bank manager to an attorney. So I think those resources really help students not get stuck in, I can only do one thing with this one thing, or because I've been planning on this one thing my whole life, there's no other options out there for me. And sometimes it's a matter of maybe they stay in a similar course, but change direction a bit. And sometimes it's they change entirely. And we get it. We know that can be really stressful if a student has thought their whole life that they were going to be this one thing and then they've changed their mind. And so again, we know there's a lot of stress around that. And so we just try and help them for their particular situation, figure out the best way to move forward. Hopefully in each appointment, providing them enough resources that they feel like they can move forward, but not too many that they feel overwhelmed. Because as you've heard, we have a lot of resources. So we always like to check in with students at the end of an appointment to make sure they're feeling good about their next steps and that they have enough, but not too much to move forward with.
Yeah, and it's important to keep in mind that the vast majority of organizations out there are not focusing on a student's major when they're looking at them as a candidate. It literally takes up one line of a student's resume, and most organizations do not ask for a transcript. They care most about why somebody wants to be there and how their unique perspective of any major they've pursued is going to give them an advantage in that field and what skills they bring. And so even if someone's choosing to change their major, it may not necessarily change their career path and vice versa. Some of my favorite examples, I worked with one student who self-designed a major in storytelling and went on to medical school. And he shared how the perspective that provided is the importance of getting patients to share their full story in order to best treat them. Another student or an alum who worked in video production for the MBA, and he was a philosophy major. And he was able to share with students about the ethics that he had debated in his philosophy classes, how they are used when he is deciding what gets put on national broadcast television and what is used for referee instant replay videos. So it can all have a perspective gained, no matter the major. While there are certain career paths that do align with different majors, that doesn't mean that you are required to pursue that path. So we have a couple more that were pre-submitted, and then we'll get to the ones that are coming in pretty quickly here. So let's see. Actually, there's just one more that was submitted ahead of time, and it is on the idea of an increased emphasis on mental health. And since that is a growing field, what opportunities, job opportunities and internship opportunities do we support within the field of psychology?
So a lot of students come to us looking for direct clinical mental health experiences, internships, and those are often a bit difficult to obtain for undergraduate students. But there are a lot of nonprofits that work in the field of mental health that do have opportunities available to undergraduates. So just earlier this week, I was at an internship summit and connected with 3 different nonprofits that have undergraduate internships available. And one of them, the student comes through it with a certificate, with ABA certification, and that they can take anywhere. So there are opportunities out there, and sometimes it's more of looking creatively at what's going to build those skills that they need versus I need direct mental health care experience. I think doing informational interviews can be really helpful. We do have, like I said, those meetups and panels. There was a licensed clinical social worker one earlier, either this semester or last. So, and then also I usually for those things talk to students about the Office of Community Engagement, because they have a lot of volunteer opportunities in the community where students can engage with community members. And so sometimes it's looking at, are there issue areas that you're particularly interested in. Where can we find organizations that have something to do with that? It might be looking at, is there a specific age population that you would like experience with? How do you get experience there? But there are lots of different opportunities that just might not be the most intuitive for what students know is out there.
And this ties in really well with several questions received about freshman and sophomore students trying to get experience. We know that there are a few industries that really do focus on that summer before your senior year internship, and because they really see that as a pipeline to a full-time hire. And so getting exposure to a field or to a skill set and getting experience within that field and skill set is relevant for all industries. There are ways that either part-time jobs, volunteering, or internships within other organizations that are associated with the field provide younger students with some of that experience that then makes them more competitive candidates later on for those summer internships.
And I usually too will sit down with students and look at, it's called Tribe Link, but it has all of the campus clubs and organizations in it to see what ones align with their interest areas. How can they get involved with those things? There are students who work for the wellness center and things like that as well. So there are opportunities. It just might not be the traditional internship that they're thinking that they're needing to pursue.
Right. It's great that students are so aware of internships as a way to get experience, but future employers care most about their interest in the field and then any experience that they have, whether they were paid or it was a professional quote unquote internship or not. All right, Lisa, we've got 13 questions that have come in.
All right, let's do this.
All right. So what are the internship eligibility criteria for foreign students?
What?
Mainly that it has to be connected to their academic major.
Right.
Because they're here on a student visa, it has to connect to their academic major. However, before they have selected a major, there are other criteria around allowing them to get experience before they've before they've declared a major. Lisa, are you familiar with some of those?
The only that I know of is working on campus.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's the main other way to get experience. So an international student can only get paid if they are working on campus or for an internship that is connected to their major. But I do believe, and this would be confirmed by the Reeve Center, so this is not our area of expertise. We collaborate heavily with the Reeve Center on the legalities here because they change often. And so I know at one point, students who had not yet declared a major could do unpaid internships, but I'm not positive that that is still the case. And so
they can absolutely do volunteering. I believe you're right. Again, don't quote either of us on this. I do believe you're right, but they can certainly volunteer with organizations. So that's another potential avenue.
Yeah. I'll take the next question. It has to do with alumni. So what opportunities are there for alumni? And I'm going to go at this from two different angles. One, we could not do our jobs effectively without the support and collaboration that we have with both parents and alumni. So we work with alumni heavily on serving as extern hosts or presenting for some of these panels or series that Lisa mentioned, hosting interns or having their company come and hire more William & Mary alumni as well. But on the flip side, if this question is actually about how do we support alumni career development, there's a lot more going on there as well. As Lisa mentioned earlier, we've recently added 2 members to our team who have been doing the great work of alumni career development and professional engagement. And they're now within our team under career readiness pathways. And there's a variety of webinars, programs, in-person and virtual networking opportunities. They do breakfast and business cards, but they also do regularly scheduled online networking hours that are either based on industry or just open networking. There's also one-on-one advising, and there's also a career design course that is heavily discounted for William & Mary alumni. And it is, I personally, I'm an alum myself, and I had a friend go through the course just a couple of years ago, and she went in a completely different direction with her career for the next step. And she felt it was very beneficial. So that's just a highlight of some of the alumni career resources. On our main website, which was one of the first links I shared, there is a page for alumni support, and so you can find more there. The next question is, when is the best time to apply for summer internships?
Well, that depends. So it often depends on industry. And so for some industries, for example, finance, accounting, consulting, they often are recruiting more than a year in advance. So we already have postings in our system for summer 2024. Then there are ones that do it much later. For instance, the reason that the government education and nonprofit fair is in the spring is because that's when those opportunities are typically open. So it very much depends on industry, but it also depends on company size. So there might be a smaller boutique consulting firm that is recruiting much later than some of the larger ones. So it depends on a lot of factors. And so what I would encourage for your student is to have an appointment with us to talk about, or for them to come to, we do internship crash courses to either come to one of those or meet with us to learn about, for what they're specifically interested in, what time frame makes sense.
Yeah,
And we have students come, I'm meeting with 2 today that are still looking for summer internships, and they're in different industries. And there are opportunities. There are approving opportunities every day in Tribe Careers. Again, some of them are for 2024, but there are certainly new ones coming in for summer 2023 as well.
And even within the same industry, it can be different. So for government, for example, something to keep in mind is the more involved or the higher level of security that might be involved for the position, the earlier the process. If there's less security clearance required, then it will be a later timeline. So that's also where the industry newsletters and the Blackboard pages are a huge resource. The business careers newsletter goes throughout the summer because that's when those, in the last couple of years, those deadlines for those finance internships for the next summer have been in June of the current summer. And so that's why those industry newsletters are very relevant. And I put in the chat for everyone to see that since the switch to Outlook, we recently learned that students, our emails are going to their other folder and not the focused folder. And that's something that students need to be aware of so that they can look for those emails. All right, the next question is, yes, things will be available through the YouTube site, and that was linked as well previously, and we'll link it again before the end of the session. Does your office help with grad school applications?
Absolutely. We help students who are looking at grad school. So as I mentioned, we do have a fair every fall semester. We also have information sessions from grad schools throughout each semester. We help them with everything from, is grad school right for me, to how do I find the grad school I want to go to reviewing personal statements for those applications.
Yep. The next question is about our office availability throughout the summer. What a lot of students don't realize is when they go on break, we don't. We're here year round, both virtually and in person. In fact, we were doing virtual appointments before they were cool. So yes, we close pretty much 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, and the Christmas and New Year's holiday, and that's pretty much it. So we are here year round. In fact, summer is a great time to take advantage of these resources. For some freshmen and sophomores who aren't ready to get some experience and to jump into one particular role, summer is a great time to update your resume, do some of these assessments, explore opportunities, have informational interviews or shadow people throughout the summer. And that way they can really grow in a lot of different areas of their career readiness and not feel like one internship is what's going to do it for them if they're not sure what they want to do, or research opportunity or part-time job. So that's definitely another way to spend the summer. All right. My child applied for several summer internships last fall for this summer. Haven't heard back from any. Oh, I hate when companies do that. The companies typically respond back or only respond if students are accepted.
It depends. We wish everyone would respond to everyone, but unfortunately that is not the case. And so I would say if they applied in the fall and they haven't heard, my assumption would be that they didn't get the opportunities or aren't moving forward. I would encourage your student to come in and meet with us to talk about ways to follow up after applying and things like that to try to help set themselves up for success.
Another point to bring up with that, a statistic that is important to know is that if their only strategy in job and internship applying and searching is applying to positions they see online, that results in a job offer or an internship offer only about 5% of the time, whereas networking results in an offer about 80% of the time. And all networking is talking to people who are doing what they want to do and building out their connections and learning from them about their path, and then following up with, this has been helpful. Can you introduce me to other people? Or do you know of ways I can get some experience? Everyone can say yes to the question for advice and information, and that's all networking is at the start. And we love showing students how to do this and showing students how to find alumni across the world doing different things that they might be interested in. And so that's another strategy we might help them with if all they've done so far is look at what's currently posted in front of them. All right, so for those students who haven't selected a major, what resources are available to help them make this choice? One thing that I think was not mentioned is something that we offer called the MACE program. It stands for My Active Career Exploration. This is open to all freshmen and sophomores each semester. And every exercise we do in MACE is available to all students on the career exploration page at the bottom of the page, exploring by different exercises. And the main advantage to the MACE program is that it's a scheduled hour-and-a-half on their calendar for 6 weeks. So it's a 6-week cumulative workshop series that they take a different focus to assessment each week. Then we show them how to use that as a research and decision-making tool. And every student in the program creates a 3-semester plan. What are you going to do over the next 3 semesters to test out what you've now researched more about? It's a great program, but if it doesn't fit in their schedule, or if say they're finding out about it now and they're a sophomore now, then we can still work with them on all of the exercises as it fits them. And if they want their major to align with their career, it can help them with that decision. One of those resources within that program Lisa mentioned is called What Can I Do With This Major? And they can explore all of those different areas. Another thing they can do is go on LinkedIn and look at alumni who have careers they find interesting and see what they majored in. And they're going to find there's probably a lot of options and a lot of variety within that. So we'd be happy to meet with them about that conversation and letting them know that one does not have to dictate the other.
Holly, we're going to go rapid fire because we're running out of time. So great question. Next one, do we offer resume reviews and or LinkedIn page evaluations? Yes, we most definitely do. So students can make appointments with us through Tribe Careers, which is our career services platform. So no, we do not use Handshake. We use Tribe Careers, which is powered by Simplicity. We also have quick advising. So that's drop-in hours, Monday through Thursday from 2 to 4. Students don't need an appointment. Those are shorter, they're about 15 minutes, whereas for appointments, they can schedule for 30 or 60 minutes. But yes, we do help with all of those things. Traveling abroad for an internship. Scholarships, so it kind of depends on how they found their internship abroad, and that's kind of specific. So I'm going to put my email in the chat. so that if you want to reach out to me about that, I'm more than happy to try and provide resources, but I don't think I can get, I have questions and I don't think we have time to get into that. So, and also if it is through William and Mary, they should talk to the Reeves Center.
With the next one, one thing that maybe your freshman can do that is having a hard time coming in the building. We do have quick advising hours that are Monday through Thursday, 2 to 4. So if just coming by and starting there is a good place, or maybe a crash course, which is a 30-minute workshop. So something that is that seems low commitment, but is a way just to get in, is one way to do it. And to sign up for the industry newsletters, that's through Tribe Careers. They go to their account, and under my account, they select their industry interest newsletter. So the pre-professional advisors, this is a question I wanted, someone else brought up with pre-law. There are faculty advisors who are pre-professional advisors for business, law, health careers, and engineering. And yes, we do collaborate with them pretty heavily through a liaison approach with the advisors that align with those industries. And so we share messaging through different listservs with each other and collaborate on having consistent messaging and refer students back and forth. But their role is to make sure students are taking the courses necessary for those graduate programs, no matter their major. Our role is to help them find professional experiences, but some of those faculty do that as well. And we collaborate with them.
Summer internships, jobs for upcoming seniors, scholarships and grants. So I would say Tribe Careers is going to be the best platform for that. And again, making an appointment for their specific situation. MACE is something that students need to register for, and that information goes out through all of our channels at the beginning of each semester. And I think there's an info session each semester. Is that right, Kelly?
Yes, there's an information each semester. It goes out through Jumpstart and the Career Conversations newsletter. We share it with multiple offices. It usually starts after ad drop, so they have time to get their academic schedule straight first, since it's not for credit and it's a 6-week series. And then Donna, I'm not sure which acronym.
I think I answered it.
Okay.
Donna, was it May? If it wasn't MACE, Donna, type us another question.
Yes. MACE is MACE, and it stands for My Active Career Exploration. I think we got through them all there.
Woohoo.
Well, thank you so much for participating in the webinar today. We hope we addressed all of your questions without overwhelming you with too much information. But hopefully what you've learned is that we have resources for students at any stage of their career readiness process, and we want them to work with us wherever they are and know that we are here for them for the long haul. If you have any other questions, I'm going to put my email in the chat as well. And if you do email the general that Lisa just added, just reference that it is a follow-up to this webinar.
All right, thank you all for coming, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.